Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Podcast, where the DR stands for Driving Results. Our focus is weekly conversations around life and business relationships and the important leadership qualities for both. These concepts and qualities will help you drive positive results in both your business and personal lives. A weekly connection point to help business leaders develop individual contributors, managers, and executives on your teams. We also will tie in concepts around family focus and life lessons to help you drive success in your personal life. Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show. Let's get after it. Hey, good day, everybody. Dr. Leadership Show here. The doctor is in. Welcome to another episode. Hey, this has been recorded a few weeks ago, and I just got to say this. How about those Hawkeye women's basketball team? Caitlin Clark, the number one basketball player in all leagues, put it to USC last night. Tomorrow night, the national championship. I hope my Hawkeyes show up, but just got to give a shout out on what an unbelievable effort against the South Carolina team. Had not been beaten in 42 games, towering, more athletic, just didn't have the goods against a fired up and unbelievably well gelled together team of wonderful young ladies. So big shout out to my Hawkeye women. Go Hawks. But hey, back to the action here. Behind the mic this week, I want to touch on a couple things. Remember, first of all, reach out to us at the email, drleadershipresults@gmail.com. That is drleadershipresults@gmail.com. We also can be found on the website at www.drleadershipresults.com. That's www.drleadershipresults.com. Check us out. Engage with us. Membership continues to grow slowly but surely, and downloads had another really nice week. So just a big thanks to everybody listening. Keep sharing with your friends. Hopefully we're having some impact on you. Today, I want to talk about something that's happening in my life right now, and it's happening in everybody's life all the time, right? And that's the winds of change. This came to me last night. Big storms last night as well across the country. Just feel terrible about the tornadoes in the south, across the Midwest as well. We had a good thumper come through here, but a little bit of hail, but nothing bad. But some people, unfortunately, have lost their lives. And weather does that every year, unfortunately, for millions of years has there been events like this on the planet. But, man, it never makes it less impactful to those that have lost loved ones. But the wind blowing last night, laying in bed, made me think about this, because this week I want to focus to how to handle the mental hurdles of handling change, right? It's change is inevitable both in your business life and your personal life. And there can be some impacts that make people just fold up. And I want to go about how you manage through these things and just talk openly about it, because there's nothing you can do about it. And the reason it's on my mind is we just finished our fiscal year. Again, this is being recorded on April 1st, April Fool's Day, and hopefully you haven't been taken too heavily by any of your loved ones. It's always fun to hear about what happens to others on this wonderful Having Some Fun with Others Day. But guess what? New fiscal year, changes at my organization. I've got a new role. You want to talk about changes? I woke up this morning to a $1 billion budget, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to chase that with all the teams that I get to participate with. And many people on my team and in my organization, my day job place, have some new goals and some new bosses, and new things are coming. Happens every year, and it's been going on in my life 34 years. I have had 34 comp plans. I've had 34 different quotas. My new role starting today is my 19th different set of responsibilities of either what accounts I had, what teams I lead or have led, what regions I happen to be responsible for, what programs I have to develop or kickstart or fix, what quota again I had. Today I wake up with a $1 billion target. Two choices here. This is in life in general. Your personal lives, your business lives. And it's okay sometimes to do the first one, which is reminisce. Think about what was. History is important. Memories are important. But when you're an individual contributor handling change and doing that in your personal or business lives again, you have to focus on the new endeavor ahead of you. Do I long for what, air quote here, was, or do I focus on what could be? I've always been a what could be guy, right? And I think that everybody needs to wrap their mind around this. I've said this before. We compared emotional intelligence to intellectual quotient. EQ versus IQ. It's great to have a big IQ for those of you that have it. But emotional intelligence, how to deal with others, but more importantly, how to control your inner demons and your thoughts that get in your way between your own ears, is critical in life. There's an old way to think about it. Controllables and uncontrollables. And controllables lie within you. Uncontrollables are those things that either others have impact. An uncontrollable was the storms. People have to face what happened last night. Nothing in the world ever could have been done to change that moment in history, unfortunately. You have to control what you can, and you have to accept and take on uncontrollables. Let's just talk about this for a second. So have you ever had a change that you were anxious or nervous about? I know I have, right? I'm not above this. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that after 34 years of changes, 19 different responsibilities, different regions, moving for the organization, taking on life changes, I know that it's going to happen. And you have to be willing to let yourself accept that things are changing. But have you ever felt anxious about any of these things? A change in boss. I had people that reported to me yesterday that today report to somebody that now reports to me. Some of those people are happy maybe that I'm not their direct report any longer, or that they report directly to me. And there's others that are anxious about it. I used to have the mother of my children with me. When that change happened, that divorce happened, I suddenly had to be a father standing alone with two young daughters. And when I had them, until I had full custody, I had to handle the things on my own. And those were fun years, 13 and 10, when I got to bring my daughters into my life individually. Talk about stress. Good God. I think everybody kind of understands what kind of guy I am, what kind of man I am. Pretty driven. I'd consider myself kind of the manly man, right? Stand up tall, handle problems, try to fix things. Suddenly I got a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old daughters, and you can guess what's going on in their lives at that point. Woo! Woo! It's all I can say. I reminisce on that, and I'm glad it's passed, and I'm glad they've changed and they're now out of the home and being very successful on their own. Have you ever faced a change in comp plan? Guess what I get to do in the next couple weeks is launch the new comp plans. And there are people that absolutely lose their mind on this every year. The company is not focused ever on minimizing compensation. They want you to make as much as possible. We've got budgetary items pointed to how many dollars people should be able to make our financials work. We got to sell stuff to make a living for the company too. Have you ever gone through a company merger or acquisition? My wife's facing this one right now. She's leading an organization that was acquired by the company she works for. And there's a lot of people that are sideways on, well, we used to do it this way. Guess what, Skippy? We don't any longer. You have two choices. Engage the new way things are being done, or you always have the opportunity to do something else. And everyone has that opportunity. That's not being a hard ass or a bad boss. That's just pointing out that there is a choice everyone can make when they're handling adversity. You can fold tent and move on. I personally don't believe in that approach. There's always a time when that is right, but very seldom is that the right one. Again, I talked about new boss. How about a new team, leading a new team or part of a new team? Think of the trades and the free agency and now the transfer portal in college athletics. There are more people changing teams every year than we ever even thought possible. You have to gel again. You have to bring things together. Back to those Iowa Hawkeyes, 4 years of playing together. They got pretty good. You live in a new town. You ever had to move your family? New school. Terrible when I had to do that to my kids. I just felt terrible. But guess what? They embraced it. They're stronger today for it. Got to go out and make new friends. Got to go out and find the right people to hang with. New job. Remember, fear and uncertainty does nothing but delay the positive outcomes. You're going to have to take this on, folks. So why burn candlelight, burn daylight on the negative aspect of it? Who out here thinks who they report to diminishes their true happiness? Stop it. I had a conversation with a couple leaders, and it's like I no longer can be happy. This is going to be awful. I appreciate the loyalty and the way they feel about. I'm not going anywhere. Even if it isn't me that we're talking about here, you have a new boss come in, you have someone new come into your organization that suddenly you report to, which I've had lots of times. Guess what? I have had bosses I liked, ones at times I did not. I learned from all of them. It might be what not to do, not how to do it. But if you're open-minded, you'll learn something that's positive from everybody too. Focus on the controllable, which allows you to grow. Remember this. Focus on you and you grow. Focus on crap grows. You can just torment yourself with this stuff, or you can get after it and move on and make it happen. Agility and the ability to adapt are keys to being successful in all your life's business and personal. There is no doubt that you're going to face adversity in your personal life too. We talked about some of the things, new bosses, things like that. How about divorce, illness, loss of a child, your parents leaving, your kids leaving the home as they grow up? You have to be able to take this on. Think about our business lives the last 3 years with this pandemic. Go-to-market strategies have had to change. The economy is in turmoil. Anybody that thinks there's not a recession going on is just playing team sports there. You're an idiot. There's a huge recession in our midst. The unemployment rate goes back to, depression times. The unemployment rate means nothing. That was developed during FDR times to see if we got from 25% unemployment of every able-bodied, mostly men at that time, workers. Remember, everybody wanted to work then. So we were trying to get all those people jobs to support their families. Today, we got 10 million people less that want to work, just don't want to work anymore. Remember, we talked about, millions of men sitting 2,000 hours a year playing video games at home. It's a full-time job. Woe is me. Where's my check? Get over it. You got to work from home now. Maybe you got to start going back to the office. Woe is me. Find a job that allows you to work remote or get your tail back in the office. We got to get back to normal on some of this stuff, folks. Quit pouting and start producing. I know it's a harsh statement, but, there is nothing going on there. There is nothing going on there that is helpful to you. Again, in your personal life, you're going to have divorce. Your kids leave for school. Retirement. Retirement's a big change. Should be the happiest day in the world. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety for some time after that. Got to find their new norm. You can lose a job. How about when the kids leave for school? I touched on that. You got to reestablish the spousal relationship once those kids are gone. What happens typically, a lot of divorces happen after the kids leave. It's because they forgot how to be a married couple. Suddenly it's like, who's this stranger with me? Remember this when your kids are in the home too. Your spouse is the most important relationship. I understand the love for kids is unconditional too. Keep that spousal relationship tight. I made the mistake in the past of thinking that was going to be automatic, and it doesn't. I am in a much better place because of that change, because I have my wife. But just be cautious of that. You got to make sure the kids are self-sufficient. Those changes. I'm going through that now with my kids. Went through taxes with the youngest for the first time, having her go off and get her own taxes done. Anxiety-ridden. She got a nice little return. Congratulations. Both of them did. Congratulations. The only time government sends you something that's good is when they decide to give you a little bit of your own money back. Life requires you to be strong. Lean on the belief in yourself and confidence. Change is going to happen. Just know that it's okay. Don't look at others with envy. Remember, the Joneses are your enemies. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Don't look at others and wish bad and ill will upon them. Don't let envy happen. Get up every day and play a one-on-one game every day with your old self and your new self. The self-dedicated. Be self-dedicated to where you can, where you're going, not where you were or where you have been. Yesterday is the past. Tomorrow is the future. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Concentrate on your present. Look to your future. Use the present to move towards your future self goals. My mom, I've talked about her a lot, my parents a lot. My mom is very direct. She looks at the world today and she goes, everybody needs to understand there are no damn pity parties. Get off of it. Doesn't do you any good. We celebrate wins and development, not feeling sorry for ourselves or wishing things were like they used to be. Impact it day by day. Now, none of this is denying the fact that there are impacts that happen to us psychologically. I'm going to get into some psychological studies here in a few minutes and touch on 8 or 9 things that they say you can do and focus on to help yourself out of this. It's not that it's a denying that it's a real thing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can be optimistic or pessimistic, glass half full or glass half empty, old saying. And if there's an engineer in the room, not a choo-choo engineer, but somebody that builds stuff, they'll look at the glass and think it was over-engineered, never should have been that big in the beginning, should always hold the exact amount. I love that. That's funny. I had 2 reps last year. This quick little story. Handed out quotas last year. It was a year ago next week. Handed out quotas, and there were some big ones because we had to change how we did quotas because of the pandemic and supply chain issues. I handed out quotas that were 50% bigger than they'd ever been before, and I had 2 of my big hitters come to me just in a panic. I said, believe in yourself. We can do this. The reason this quota's coming to you is because I give the ball to shooters. The final moments of a game, there's never been a play called where you don't give it to somebody that can make the play. You don't give it to the person that doesn't ever take the shot. You give it to the people that take the shots and have gotten you to the opportunity to win the game in the first place. Guess what happened to both those reps? They both made more money than they'd ever made before. They're listening, I'm sure, and I know that they know who I'm talking about. It's been recent. Proud of them, man. These guys are killers that I'm talking about. Ladies, guys, I'm not talking their biological sense there. When I say guys, it's the whole. It's the plural. These guys and gals are killers, and it's awesome. They have the right attitude. Shaky at first, but it's okay. Something else is take a deep breath when change comes at you. Do a little research, do a little thought process before you start reacting. Some people just jump up and just start hairs on fire every time, Chicken Little, right? You got to watch that because all you're doing is negatively impacting your own well-being. I have had times of that too. I will have times of that in the future as well. I need to practice what my notes say myself. I'm just sharing it because you will get to a better place faster. You will get behind you that anxiety, those fears, etc. You're really uncertain. You're not scared. It's not fear. Fear and uncertainty are almost identical psychologically. One can lead to the other very quickly. It's that thin line between confidence and cockiness. Self-confidence and cockiness, thin line. You can cross it easily. Uncertainty can lead to fear if you allow it. Don't allow it to happen, right? Couple great things. Think about the great music out there that have talked about change. Use some of that good mojo. You got David Bowie, changes. You got that song. You got Scorpions, Winds of Change. It's about the fall of the Cold War, right? I mean, East Germany, West Germany, great German band. How they sing that clearly in English always just freaks me out. But Winds of Changes, Gorky Park timeframes, look it up. History's important, look it up. And then the best one, Sheryl Crow. That's right. Change can do you good if you let it be. Let it be a good thing for you versus a bad thing for you. If you embrace it, take it on, positives are going to come out of it. Rustling my papers here. There's some steps to overcome that psychologists have brought up to us, and I want to just touch on it a little bit. Practice acceptance. What this means is that there's only two choices, right? I said that a moment ago. One of the choices is always you can go elsewhere. Now, my dad used to say something great, again referring to my parents. World War II families, grew up in the Depression. They faced some proverbial SHIT. Depression, multiple wars, Cuban Missile Crisis, 9/11, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island. The list can go on and 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 on. My mom's 93, faced from the Depression to today, 8 surgeries, still whoop my tail if I mouthed off to her. Yes, ma'am. That's how I approach her. But my dad used to say, if the grass is greener, it probably has required more maintenance. You want to talk about change? You don't like change at your current position or your current place in life? So let's say it's a spousal situation. I don't like that the kids are now gone and I got to re-engage with this person I'm sitting with as the example. Or an illness. You can go off on your own? That's even bigger change. The grass isn't greener all the time. Don't burn bridges. You might need the road home. So practice acceptance. Deep breath. Okay, this is coming at me. Take your time. Notice your thoughts is another psychological step that they say to take. Think about what you're thinking. Don't just think it. Start thinking about, what am I thinking? Self-diagnosis. Lay on the couch yourself. Hop up, take some notes. Lay back down on the couch. Talk to yourself. Hop up, take some notes. Find a way to get comfortable with what's going on. You got to notice your thoughts. Again, it's always about control what you can and don't even try the uncontrollables. So certain things in life, I get a new plan from Japan. I have to hit the plan is the plan. The number is the number. I'm going to divvy that number out. The number's coming to them. That's the number. Now start working on the controllable to attain the number. What does my current prospect list look like? What's the pipeline look like? What do I need to do to improve pipeline around specific targets that I may have about the widget that I have to sell, the service I have to enable? In personal life, what do I need to do to get out of my economic turmoil? What are the bills I tack first? I can't control that I've run up these bills. Now I can control how I attack these bills. Dave Ramsey's got some good steps there. Check him out. Then you got to work on decreasing the stress. And this is coping skills, right? And I've touched on this a couple times. Everybody has things they like to do. Now, one of the big ones for all of us, when you have a stressful situation, you got to get those internal juices that are non-dopamine type effects, low creating, depression creating items. Get that stress out of your system, and exercise and doing things that take your mind off of it are critical. Do some exercise. Doesn't have to be you run a marathon. Walk around the block a couple times. When your mind starts going down a dark place as far as handling change, managing the winds of change, get yourself out of it and do something that creates a different set of chemical reactions in your body. Get the dopamine going, right? Get off of the serotonin where you're just worried to death, okay? You have to get these things into the right levels and use exercise to do it. Other coping skills, meditation. Sit and just give some thoughts to things. Hobbies. I love to play golf. I love to vacation, sit in a chair on the beach. You want to talk about de-stressing me? Put me on a plane to a warm climate. Let me lie underneath a palm tree. I'm pretty good at that point. I don't know what yours is. Maybe it is running marathons. Just had a good buddy. This is amazing to me. He and his daughter just finished running the 6 major marathons. He's around 60. I don't know, might be a couple years older than that, might be a couple years younger than that. But he and his daughter just ran the Tokyo Marathon to finish running the Boston, the Chicago, the New York, the London, Tokyo, and I'm missing one. But anyway, the big 6. That's amazing. Now, he has a stressful job too. So he runs. Good for him. She had her personal best. He's grown older through all of these over the last decade they've done these. You have to qualify for some of these. And his time's got a little slower, but man, he can look back on that. Talk about that's something good to reminisce, is how many mountains they climbed to get this thing done. So find coping skills that help you with this. The world is not ending, folks. You can handle this. I believe in you. The other thing is be patient. This goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. Don't just react. Take a breath, be patient, soak it in, and then understand following change, it could be a change that results don't come immediately. If you're in a new position, as an individual contributor or a leader, a lot of times I've been brought in as a leader to fix some things. There's been poor performance in the past. I've had to take teams on like that. I had to set my mentality. I've always been self-motivated. Some of these people aren't going to think like me right away. I got to work on the culture. I got to work on the belief. I got to work on the attitudes. That doesn't happen overnight. You got to celebrate small wins, small victories, help these people up over speed bumps, turn into hills that they can climb, turn into mountains they can climb. Pretty soon you've created champions. All of it is because they turned on their self-belief. So you can be motivated by others, but no one gets out and gets it done except me, myself, and I. So concentrate on patience, right? Control what you can. Think about your thoughts. Know you got to accept it. Start planning toward it. Work on decreasing the stress. Be patient, deep breaths. And then use things that bring you comfort too. And this is kind of the warm, cuddly part of the conversation. My wife and my children, I love them, just beyond belief. I love spending time with my family. The other thing that brings me great joy is just getting out on a walk with the dog, cutting her loose in the park and watching her run around like an idiot. Just the happiest, never a frown on a dog's face. Never. They meet you with joy every day. That's why their life's so short. It's because they burn up all the positive thoughts in a few short years compared to our long lives, because we allow negatives and ho-hum and pity parties to come into our own worlds. You got to manage through that yourself, all right? So find that comfort. Spouse, loved ones, kids, find a calming environment. It's going to be okay. The winds of change have gone on forever. They will continue on for perpetuity. So take control of those thoughts. Get yourself through it. It's going to be all right, man. It's going to be another killer year. I can feel it for all of us. Shift your mindset, man. Connect with others, man. Use change as a growth opportunity. It doesn't have to be a negative with change. Every change that I've been through in my life has really led to some pretty positive things. When you reminisce and go back, don't just think about how it used to be. Remember, your used to not be too. A change happened to get to that used to be. So you got to think through these things. Some people say, why can't it be like last year? Guess what they said beginning of last year? Why can't it be like last year? Guess what they said at the beginning of the last year? Why can't it be like it used to be? They aren't even realizing that what they long for, they were very anxious about and uncomfortable about 12 short months ago, 3 short months ago. I mean, come on, folks. Intellect and emotional intelligence combined give you peace of mind to understand we've got some great opportunities in front of us. We're facing first world problems most of the days in our lives. There are big things that impact us. Deaths, divorces, health issues. Got a dear friend just fighting for his life. That's why I'm handling these changes in my life today a lot different than maybe I even would have just a short month or two ago. I'm watching people I care about deeply fighting for their lives. So, put it in perspective, man. Put it in perspective. Everything's going to be all right. Remember this. You have been awesome before. You're still awesome. Keep that shit up. Talk next week.